like men will, it don't matter how fat it is in the front. Like if they want it, they want it. And if it feel good, it feel good. So
no, you're right. It don't matter, but it's a plus.
Really?
Okay. It's a plus. It's a plus for the view. It's a plus just to see it. Like if she got on boy shorts or whatever the case is, and you can see it, it's good for the view. But then at the same time, even during the process of the activity, you know, it is what it is there too.
Yo, you got your tap dancing shoes on because you tap dancing around all these words.
You trying to
because you know what?
Smushed sandwich. Let's talk.
Smushed sandwich. I'll just edit that part out. Don't worry about that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and share this video. So tonight, we're going to be sponsored by VPN, Pure VPN, which is a service that allows you to be anonymous online. Also, if you're in a certain part of the country where you can get access to certain content, you can use your VPN service to get around that and watch whatever you want to watch. So take a look at Pure VPN. We're going to leave that in the description section. Tonight we got Sharon from Eclectic Soul Organics.
Hey y'all.
Hey, what's up? What's up? We got Tiffany Johnson, who is doing all types of good stuff for the community. We'll talk about that in a second. We got King Ryan.
Yes, sir. Salute.
All right. And I'm Martel Hardy. And let's get right into this. We're going to talk about our first topic, which is, do Black women feel pressure to have perfect bodies? Who would like to first?
I think ladies. It's
yeah.
Oh, you giving us the go ahead.
Right.
Yes.
Look at Ryan being nice.
Now I want to be nice.
Take advantage of this right now. Take advantage.
Well, I will go first. I will say yes. For me, it is a cultural thing that I have felt from since a young age, that it is looked upon Black women to be thick, voluptuous, to have big booties, small waistlines. So I've always felt that pressure that if I had that type of physique, I would be more attractive to the man's eye. So for me, definitely there is pressure, you know, like I didn't grow up believing that skinny women would wear a sat, you know, flat booties was where it's at. I feel like the flat booty girls, the itty bitty titty community girls, they didn't get no love like that. They just didn't get the same type of love. So yeah, I do feel like there is that pressure. I definitely had to do some inner work to get over that. Cause you know, I personally have grown up on the skinnier side. And I remember, you know, having to drink a bunch of Ensures every day to make sure my weight was always at a certain level to be more attractive to men, until eventually I kind of grew out of that phase and was like, sorry, I forgot we on YouTube, excuse my language. But I hit a point where I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, they're gonna like me for who I am. What matters to me is being healthy, and however my body takes form, that's okay. As long as I feel good, I feel confident, that's all that matters. So, but I think you have to, as women, we have to get to a certain mindset to not care about what other men may think, because honestly, confidence is attractive, you know, and at the end of the day, whether you're skinny, whether you're thicker, if you're confident in who you are, a man is going to find you attractive, no matter what your shell, you know, may look like. So that's my take on it.
Ms. Johnson?
I agree with very much of what Sharon has shared. I would say to an extent, first and foremost, I think there's just pressure on everybody societally to have idealized bodies and to have, you know, and to be desirable to whomever you want to desire you. And I think we don't talk enough about the impact that it has on women's society, psyches, like Sharon is saying. As a more voluptuous woman, you know, I still feel like there's a lot of pressure on me to be thin and to, you know, like, is it a big booty? Is it not a big, like, because all of that stuff is sort of objective, like, and so, I believe in body positivity, and, you know, it's like you can't look at somebody and decide from the naked eye whether or not they're healthy. You know, you can be skinny and unhealthy, you can have a full body and be healthier than somebody with a smaller body. And so I think, like, we really just need to put away with shame and judgment around what other people are doing and why they're doing it, you know? Thinking about, like, even how in the Victorian period, a woman with a body like mine, I feel like was sort of the ideal, you know, very curvy. I don't have a flat stomach at all. But just, I feel like it changes, you know, even in my life, I haven't been living that long, and I feel like it changes from year to year. Like one minute it's Tiana Taylor, 1 minute it's, I mean, who's curvier? I can't think of anybody concretely.
Beyonce or
yeah. I remember watching a show. What's the show? Mad Men. And I believe her name is Christina Hendricks. Like, she's really full, probably about like a size 14-ish woman. And I was just like, oh my God, you know what I mean? It's not something that you see a lot in popular culture. And I think it does vary from community to community, what's idealized. But what I think is interesting is, like, recently with the Kardashians and stuff, you have Black women's features being idealized, but also appropriated at the same time. And so it's like, I remember when I was in college and this spoken word group came in, like, you want my juicy lips, but you don't want me. You know, it's like, you want the Black aesthetic, but you don't want Blackness. And you want the actual Black experience or the Black pain that comes along with that. So it's very complex, but I would be, you know, and y'all know I'm in that, but I think I would be remiss if I didn't say that it's not a unique problem to women. I think that all people experience.
Wow.
Body shaming. Don't do that.
What?
The wow. Like, oh my God.
No, I'm just saying, you, like, a lot of times we have conversations and, you know, you guys share your opinion, but on this particular topic, you both elaborated a lot more than usual. So it must be something that really affects you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's actually interesting to hear Tiffany say that, because, you know, as being a curvier woman, like you said, I've always felt like curvier women, they would be happy that they're curvy because they have the assets that guys, you know, desire. So it's interesting to hear your take on it, and you felt like you should be skinnier, I guess. So yeah, I guess to me that kind of just reminds me that I feel like none of us are ever really truly happy, right? Like, I feel like curly hair girls want straight hair girls want curly hair girls sometimes want kinkier hair. So it's like, I feel like no matter what body form we may be in, there's always a part of us that thinks that the grass is greener on the other side. But then when you hear that person's other side, you realize that they have the same type of internal struggles. So I find that to be interesting.
Yeah. And I'm even thinking about, like, the quarantine period itself, because starting off, I was like, okay, I'm on my fitness game, like working out every day, all day, like multiple times a day. Then I broke my toe and it was like, oh crap, I can't. It wasn't just the physical aspect, it was like the emotional and psychological aspect of, like, I'm down, my spirits are not what they used to be. And so I've seen, like, my body fluctuate, and it's like this mental anguish that I go through of, like, I gotta get my body back to how it used to be. I gotta, like, set these goals and make sure that I'm, you know, but it's not just our communities. It's like American society sells this, that, and the other thing. There's so many things that they're always trying to sell us. And so if you're perfect as you are, then they can't sell you the stuff that will require you to augment yourself. So it's all intentional. It's not a mistake that people with different body types feel shame and self-consciousness at different levels.
Mm-hmm. I feel like too that segues into like, what do you guys think about Instagram? Like, I feel like social media, Instagram, Facebook also puts a lot of pressure on women to look a certain way. Because those women that show their bodies and look a certain way get a whole bunch of likes, right? Whereas someone that's a bit more modest and being covered up or just has a certain body type may not be as popular. That's the reality. They could be putting out much more valuable content, but because their bodies doesn't look a certain way, they don't get that type of love. And I feel like that also plays with women's psyches, and they feel like they have to present themselves in a certain manner to pull in men, to pull in likes, to pull in
Ryan,
popularity.
you look like you wanted to say something, Ryan. Go ahead.
Well, the initial point that the two of you guys were making, y'all really hit the nail on the head with that. There's not too much really I can, say, about it. Y'all, like I said, y'all really, y'all got it. As far as with social media, for the most part, I think as long as you showing some skin, you win. Because I see chicks that, they're just voluptuous, they're big, but they're wearing, they showing it all, but they're looking classy in a way. They get a whole bunch of likes. Not just only the chicks that, got implants and booty shots and all that stuff, whatever the case is. Women, period. Just as long as you showing some skin and you showing that you got a little something, you're gonna get a whole bunch of likes. And I think, the only thing I would add to the initial point was that where society is that they make it, it adds to the pressure where it's like, summertime come, everybody got to look a particular way. Men and women, not even just women, men as well. Because you got to show off your body. When it gets 90 degrees, 100 degrees, you got to show that you've been in the gym, you working it out. You know what I mean? Like women, you curvy, this, that, and the third, or whatever. For some reason, it just is what it is. And it seems everybody's biting on that every year. So you notice now, once after Christmas time, you're going to hear them people with the New Year resolutions. I'm trying to lose that COVID weight and all that other shit because pardon my language. But,
That's cool.
That COVID weight. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, well, damn, I've been cooped up in the crib for all these months and I put on 30, 40 pounds. I got to get this all before summertime because, I'm, as far as going into next year, people are probably assuming that COVID is gonna pass. And it's like, it's going to be a chance to get back outside. So it's like, I can't miss what's going, because everybody going to be outside. Everything is going to get back in the swing of things 100%. So I don't want to get caught slipping. I don't want to be out there like, damn, COVID really did you in, you off. You know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, it's like, again, like social media, you could look any particular way, just as long as you're showing some skin, you're going to get a whole bunch of likes because it's that sex appeal. Women, for some reason, no matter what you look like, as long as you got something going on and you half naked, you're going to get 10, 20,000, 30,000 likes and all that other stuff. You put it on videos, everybody going to be in on that or whatever the case. The better it's crazy because you look good if somebody's stealing your pictures and posting it up on their page, making it seem like it's them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As much as people complain about it, and I understand it's like it's taking your identity, and I get it. But in the social media world, if people is taking your pictures because you look a particular way, that's a testament to how you look. Nobody is stealing people. No, nobody's stealing ugly people pictures and portraying it like it's it's them. So somebody's stealing your pictures.
Sometimes, yeah. I was just gonna say it depends if the person has popularity because it may not be this person.
But that's kind of where I was going with. But that's kind of what I was right. But that's what I was meaning because you right. So if you're an ordinary person, but yet you have that look where it's like, damn, she bad, and it's like she, every picture she got over like maybe over 1,000, 2,000 likes and all that other stuff. You doing something, and you're just a regular person getting that. You know what I mean? So imagine when you become a bigger name and you're just one of them Instagram models. So you got that type of status. It's going to be
what I think though. I think people forget to a certain extent that we are like creatures of nature. And just like in nature, there's certain physical attributes that are more attractive to like the overall population. Like when I think about a lioness, right? Or say like any type of animal, the female of that species is looking for a particular thing from the male, and vice versa, because they want to have a certain type of offspring, right? I don't think human beings are not that different, you know.
Right.
The only thing I think is societal wise, we've grown to a point where we have culture, and our culture can kind of dictate that we have separate, you know, classes of what we think are attractive. Like there's women out there who think big men are attractive, like they like big men, and vice versa. There's men out there who like
that love big women. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
to be funny about it. Well, it's keeping it a buck, but it's funny though. It's like a lot more. It's as much as big women feel there's a lot of big women who feel, you know, they don't look good. They have a complex about themselves or whatever. They get a whole bunch of love.
Yeah,
they get a whole bunch of love.
Yeah,
and for them to feel a particular way, it's like I don't understand, because there's a whole bunch of men. I mean, the jokes is there, but there's a lot of men that don't hide how much they love big women.
Yeah, yo, there's a meme out right now where the guy's like in shape. He's like built, and he got his girl who's a voluptuous, you know, woman, and he's like rubbing on her rolls, like this is all me, baby. Like
it is. I mean, it's funny, but it's a truth.
No, it's the truth. Especially like you even see memes talking about like bigger women are better to be with in the winter time, because you know there's the cushion, there's the softness. I mean, it's appealing. It's appealing to a lot of men.
From a man's perspective, like, and I think in ways where a lot of women who are not top heavy, why they get implants is because they understand how much men actually likes big breasts, like to hold, to touch, to play with, whatever. It is what it is. Like to hug a woman with big breasts or to cuddle with women with big breasts. It's something, but the only thing is, it's like when it's natural and it's that soft.
Get some implants real quick. No, I'm kidding.
It just is what it is, man. It's always been. This is not nothing new. This isn't over the past 20, 30, 50 years. This has been something, you know, relatively like, you know, that people has been enamored with for years. Years. It's just something to just look at when you see a woman that's thick, voluptuous, big breasts, a nice behind. It's like, yo, I want that. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. It just, before you even get to know her, you just see what she has, the package, and it's like, oh, yo, I'm there. I want that. It is what it is. Like,
let me ask y'all real quick, because it just popped in my head. What is this fascination with the thigh gap?
With what?
Oh, you never heard of this?
The thigh gap?
Yeah.
When they're standing together,
like
when they're standing with their legs together, but you still see the space in between.
Yeah, what's this?
Oh.
I didn't even know it was like
it's not, that's nothing new neither. That's kind of like a lot of times. Okay, I mean, we on the platform to where it, you know, whatever. But to be honest with you, my understanding how it always been. If you seen a woman that had that gap, even when she got her thighs together, that means her joint is and what we say meaty. It's meaty. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's a telltale. Like, yo, there's something crazy there. You know what I mean? That's why she can't put her legs together.
I mean, that's.
Oh, you mean something meaty in the front?
That's an urban myth.
Oh,
I don't think so. I
don't
think so.
It is.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Yo,
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because it just popped in my head having this conversation. I actually read a whole article about this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a lot of women work out, they diet, they do whatever they can to get this thigh gap because they think men find it attractive. And it turns out that it's just, you got to be born with it. It's like it's genetic. But it doesn't have to do with the meatiness.
Right, because I'm like, because I would think
it's the structure of the thighs.
I never knew that was like a thing y'all look for. Learn something new.
Honestly, a lot of times it's just something that we it's something else that we're using to pick apart, to really just be able to dissect a woman. It's just something else. Yo, you know what I mean?
That might be the intro, man. The media.
See, that's why. So then I have a culture specific question. So is that why all the Jamaican songs are talking about the fat pum pum god? Is that why?
No, but no, I mean, that's not a myth because some women actually really have it. Like, and it's like, I mean, again, when you kind of go through that and you've experienced it, you continue wanting to chase it. So you look for any type of telltales to where it's like, oh, that's another one. That's another one. That's another one. I'm going for that.
Is it like crack?
I feel like, I don't know though, because I feel like men will, it don't matter how fat it is in the front. Like if they want it, they want it. And if it feel good, it feel good. So
no, you're right. It don't matter, but it's a plus.
Really?
It's a plus. It's a plus for the view. It's a plus just to see it. Like if she got on boy shorts or whatever the case is, and you can see it, it's good for the view. But then at the same time, even during the process of the activity, you know, it is what it is there too.
Yo, you got your tap dancing shoes on because you tap dancing around all these words.
You trying to
you know why? Because I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep it, sensible because I don't want to. We've done enough videos, so you know how my mouth can go off. Yeah. So I don't want to put you in a situation where you got to keep editing. So I'm trying. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be conscious of this.
Cool.
I feel like this is a culture lesson because I've never heard.
Trust dudes who see this video, they'll hear what I'm saying and know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
But here's a secret for the men, though. You can create the illusion of a thigh gap in a picture based on how you stand.
But y'all women create illusion all the time with how y'all look with everything. We gotta find out later on that it's BS.
Everything is an illusion. Couture.
For real.
Eggs.
It's contour.
Excuse me.
Yeah, excuse me.
But not all women wear makeup.
That's true.
Like I would say most.
I don't think women need to wear makeup or whatever. I understand sometimes or whatever you use certain things to enhance, your natural beauty, and I get that. But it's like me personally, my preference is I don't think women need to wear it because I see a lot of women who put it on and it makes them look worse.
I don't know. I feel like y'all say that, but then when women do have makeup on, you find them more attractive
because it enhances your natural beauty. It does.
Right.
So yeah, of course.
Yeah. Right. I mean, but at the end, the only thing is, it's like a lot of women who wears it on a regular basis, and then when we see you you ain't wearing it. Of course, like you look different because we're not used to seeing you with it.
It's like, yo, babe, you ain't telling me your brother was coming over here?
For real.
See, that's not nice.
I'm joking.
For real, yo. Like, I mean, the thing is, as we talk, I'm keeping it real. Like, there's a lot of times like we'll speak about women and we'll tell you how beautiful y'all are. Now, I don't even got to know you, and it's like we keep it a buck and tell you. But for some reason, y'all women don't really like to listen to it, and y'all worry about what other women is doing and feel like y'all got to be in competition with other chicks to do these things. And it's like, why?
Because those chicks get more like all of these Instagram influencers that get all these, like, they're honestly the ones I've seen, they're not posed with bare faces. A lot of them have full-fledged contour,
You're absolutely right.
lip, eyeliner, like they are dressed to the teeth, okay, like for a photo shoot. So, and that's what gets the attention, not these girls that are barefaced with their pimples, showing, no concealer on. That doesn't really get as much attention, to be honest.
Unless that's what their profile is about.
Right, exactly. But other than that, it won't. So it's like, I hear what you guys are saying, but then when the way it translates to real life experience, it's not matching.
But then you putting yourself in a position where you're worrying about the next chick. You don't need to worry about the next chick or what have you. Because if you got a dude, right, and you look at his Instagram and he's following all these particular chicks, that's opposite from what you look, right? It's like, yo, babe, I'm only looking at it. Like, it is what it is. I watch basketball all the time. You don't see me out there. You don't see me out there necessarily trying to actually be a basketball player. I like it. It's good to watch, but that's where it is right there. It just is what it is. For some reason, you see what we looking at and feel like, oh, I got to replicate that. No, you really don't.
Well, I'll say, like, it seems like y'all two are probably saying the right thing, showing up properly. But
No, I think a lot of these dudes say the same thing, but y'all don't want to listen to it because, like I said, you guys are in competition with other chicks for
No, I
whatever
would
reason
say
it may be.
I
can
just
I
feel
have,
like
can I
what
share
they
my
said
experience
doesn't
though?
match. Go ahead.
I mean, like, I hear what you're saying, Ryan, but I have personally had the experience of like men pursuing me and then trying to change me into something else. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's less about men in general. It's like I've had specific experiences where it's been like, oh, you need to do this, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that example because it's not really YouTube friendly. But yeah, I think that
Like, what do you mean? Like they meet you a certain way, and then when they with you, they want you to be, they want to.
Like what they see on Instagram.
like they'll try to augment you and say, well, you should do this with yourself. Mind you, you don't have nothing going on for yourself. You looking like a little twig, a little tree branch. And then you're gonna have the nerve to try to tell me what I need to do myself and my body. And so I feel like
no, and that's fair, and I get that. And there's been numerous episodes where there's other women that would say the same thing. They've been put in that position, and you're right. But I think also naturally, I think because you have so much women trying to copycat what they see on social media, that naturally we see so much women doing this, and it's like it's almost as if we're asking you to do what we kind of don't want you to do, but because every other woman is doing it. So it's like, when is it going to be your turn to try to copy that?
Right. I don't know. I just think it's natural for partners to want to do things that they think will please their partner. And I think women that probably do that, it's because they think that that is what's going to please their partner, right? So if their partner is following all these big titty girls, they're going to think that their partner likes big boobs. And if they don't have big boobs, I think it can make a person feel conscious about it.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that if a lot of women, that was their take on why they're doing it. But that's not even why they're doing it. It's not like I'm doing it to please my man because he likes huge breasts and I don't have it, but he loves me anyway, but I'm doing this for him. Like,
I mean, we could talk about this forever, but let's try to go to another topic.
Like,
can I say one last thought though? And it's that, like, sure. Ultimately, regardless, you cannot, if somebody is not just going to like you for who you are, there's no amount of self-changing that you can really engage in that is going to sustain that relationship or keep that person. So it's not worth even attempting it.
Oh, matter of fact, one more
Agreed.
thing. So it's definitely clear that women and men feel pressure to look a certain way, right? So
yeah.
What do you think we should do or we can do to kind of alleviate that pressure?
Love yourself.
I was already starting to think about this because when I was in Puerto Rico a few weeks ago, there was these women at the bar, and they were talking to one woman, and she was like white presenting, but when she started talking, it's like, oh, she make it known she Black, and she had her whole body augmented, and so she was talking about, oh yeah, girl, go to Atlanta, because yeah, you know they look so good, and he did every part of her body to create this ideal image. And so I think that it's not just like men to women, it's also women to women. And there's certain places where it's just the culture of the space. Like in Atlanta, it's just so common for people to get those Brazilian butt lifts and and you get the liposuction to have your fat sucked out of your stomach so you can have, then it's all an illusion, you know what I'm saying?
It is an illusion.
It is. Sustained.
It is.
So that said, I think that like it all starts, I don't know if it's going to be a long-term project, but a lot of self-work has to be done for people to understand that it's not about your shell. At the end of the day, that's regardless. It's so much more than that.
I think it starts with positive body reinforcement from a child. Your parents, people in your circle got to tell you that it's okay to be who you are. You don't have to change that image that you see on social media.
I agree in some sense, but you know, that's when when you're home, yeah, you'll listen to your parents and tell you that and you believe it, I get it. But then the more you're outside, like when you go to school, especially from high school, and you start to and you hear how people engage in high school and then you go forward after that or whatever. Yeah, your parents taught you one thing, but you feel compelled to naturally adapt to what's going on outside because it seemed like the norm.
Right.
That's true.
And just to add to that, I think the healing starts, I feel, with just not caring, in a sense, like not caring what other people think, right? I think that it starts with you. And even if your parents didn't give you that reinforcement growing up, because a lot of parents don't, because a lot of parents themselves got body issues. I think it's important to parent yourself, you know, tell yourself what your parents didn't tell you, but you wish that they did. That in itself is, I mean, because I've done that type of work, and let me tell you, it's helped heal me a lot. So I think that people really need to work on their inner child without expecting someone else to show up as that parent for you.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's good. Yeah. All
right, so let's get into this next topic. Why do you guys feel like our generation, our marriages don't last as long as our parents or grandparents?
I think this generation got to go through way more distractions than the people of yesteryear. The distractions of today is so supreme, and there's not enough of married couples today as there was yesterday. You know, so at least for the most part, if you are a married couple and you're going through your struggles, there's other married couples that you could confide in to kind of help you, you know, with what you're going through. Because there's so much people back then that's immediately going through the same type of thing. Now you got so much people that's not getting married or that's not married. And plus, it's like a lot of times in marriages, everything is a standstill in the relationship. And then there's so much craziness going on outside. A lot of people feel like, damn, did I make the right decision in getting married? And they see all this shit going on and they feel like, look, I don't want to be married right now. I want to still do this dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I think at the end of the day too, I think, you know, what ruins, the possibility of marriages, or even when people get married and why marriages fail, I think people just don't know how to communicate.
That's true.
That too. I also feel, so all of what Ryan said, I agree with. And to add to that, I feel like there's just different stressors too that exist now than before, especially on women too, because I feel like back in the day, like decades ago, there was that more of that traditional mindset where women had their role, right? And men had their role. Women were home with the family, keeping things in order with the house. Men were out working. Whereas now we live in a society where both people are working, right? But a lot of women are still, you know, they're working, but they're still coming home and doing all of those traditional types of things like cooking and cleaning. And there's a lot of added stress there. And I feel like sometimes that can cause friction in the dynamics of the relationship as well. So I feel like there's just overall different environmental stressors. And I just also feel like relationships are hard, you know, like the communication, trying to communicate and meet someone's needs and not hurt people's feelings and try to keep your partner happy while you're still emotionally happy. All those dynamics are very difficult.
But those things existed in our grandparents and parents' relationships as well. I let Tiffany say what she had to say, but I do want to go back to that.
Well, no, you can finish your thought. I didn't mean to need to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I think my point is very much aligned to what you just said, which is I think overall the reasons why people got married before have shifted dramatically. Like there were a lot of pragmatic or just basic reasons why women needed to get married to be able to have a stable life. For example, it's not until Ruth Bader Ginsburg that people were actually even able to, women can buy property, get their own bank account, have certain types of jobs, and that they eliminated discrimination on the basis of sex. And so this is as of the 70s, right? It's only been 50 years. And so now don't need marriage for security in the ways that they did. And people just want to live their lives differently. A lot of people are exploring different lifestyles. Like, hey, maybe I want to be pansexual and I want to try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of everything. And none of that was socially acceptable in our parents' generation. So I think people just, you know, are a lot more free, you could say. But then I also think that I saw this response, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but people don't put up in the same with the same things in relationship on either side that they would. So for example, abuse was like a common practice. Domestic partner abuse was just, it's like, you take it, he ain't kill you, girl, you eating, he taking care of the kids, he love the kids, you know, 100 different excuses for why you just got to get through it. And people are no longer just willing to put up with those things now.
That I agree with too.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot too. I just feel like divorce wasn't really acceptable back then. Like, I feel like they thought about it, you know, but because it wasn't acceptable, they sucked up whatever was happening in the relationship. Whereas now it's like, oh, he want to try that, I'm out. Oh, she want to she want to text that dude, oh, I'm out.
All right, but do you think that the whole institution of marriage was created for a certain purpose, and maybe that purpose was to keep families together because it adds more stability?
You know what I was gonna add to that, and you make a valid point, because I think like 50 years ago, 50, 60 years ago, you know, your great grandparents, they were married. When your parents got old enough, they got, you know, when your grandparents got old enough, they got married. And then your parents. And so, but then when it came time for you, when you got older, your great grandparents, your grandparents, they passed away, but then your parents might have divorced, and they went through something that, you know, was crazy in what you seen. Like, they was fighting constantly, all kind of craziness or whatever. You might have ended up taking on the tone of what their relationship was and did the same type of situation with you because you thought that was normal. You know what I mean? So if you seen your moms, you seen your pops beating your moms, you probably jumped in a relationship and got, you know what I mean? And we got the same thing because you thought that was normal. And then you end up probably getting a divorce later on or whatever. Things broke after a while, because once upon a time, like Tiffany said or whatever, I think Sharon said it too or whatever, certain things was different at that point back then. Later on or whatever, as we get more now to the future, things changed a little bit where people, like they said or whatever, they start putting up with that shit. Like, yo, I'm not dealing with this no more. The constant arguing, the constant bickering, the constant fight. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not staying there. My great grandparents did it. My parents didn't do it. I'm not doing it. I'm out.
All right, but my question is, what caused the shift? Because why were our parents and grandparents? I would say probably primarily grandparents and great grandparents, because a lot of like our generation, our parents got divorced, but before that, what was it that made them stick together, and why? Like, it must have been like a commitment to this idea. Was it religion? Was it the pressure of society? What do you think?
I think it was a mix of,
it could have been a mix of all that.
Possibly religion, but also just a need, because women weren't as independent, to be honest.
That's true.
Most of the relationships I know that have split, it was the woman more than likely that made the choice.
She had nowhere to go.
She was like, I ain't doing this no more.
Yeah, she had nowhere to go.
She felt empowered because she no longer had to rely on that person for financial means. She no longer had to rely on that person to take care of the kids. Like, she felt like she was okay enough where she didn't have to tolerate certain things, quote unquote. Whereas back then, I feel like a lot of women stayed because where are they gonna go? Like, they really had nowhere else to go, right? It was one of those situations where it was marriage for survival. Like, I do feel like that's just what it was, because they didn't really have an ability to be on their own.
You know, this topic really brings up more of a point that I got to talk to like my moms about and all that, like things of that nature. Like, why were they staying together? Like, because I'm pretty sure things that the current generation goes through, they went through some of that. And it's like, because I mean, I know people of today that they get abused and everything like that, and yet they still find the means to leave, even though they ain't got nowhere to go.
Yeah. And I think also, you know, it's easy to look back on things with nostalgia and the sense of the good old days, like, wow, that used to be so great. But it's like the relationships weren't necessarily healthy. I would say the proportion of healthy relationships has probably improved in our day and age because people have more social and psychological and emotional skills that allow them to communicate better and have better relationships. But what was the other thing I was going to say? Something Ryan said that made me think of it. Oh yeah, and I think generally people don't necessarily desire a relationship, but Marcel, you and I have talked about this several times, like how men have a more realistic notion of what marriage is typically in the way they're socialized because they're expected to be the provider and to like carry the financial burden in the relationship. And so it's not necessarily something that men sort of like idealize or look forward to in the way that women are taught from a very early age. It's like a fairy tale. And so I think a lot of women go into it with this idealized perspective. And not only that, it's a status symbol to be married. Like you get more respect and you get more appreciation and you're valued more by people if you do choose to be married or if you are, quote, chosen by somebody. That's really sort of like a status symbol in our society.
I think it's just like, you know, times are different. You know, back in the day, you're hearing songs that kind of advocate marriage. You don't even hear no songs like that anymore. You don't even really hear real R&B love songs anymore. So it's almost as if even love, for the most part, is not as you know, respected or wanted as much as it once was of a yesterday. You know what I mean? More so now, only thing that, you know, people want is chicks twerking. They just, you know, sex is pretty much the primary topic. That's all it just seems to be or whatever. And at the end of the day, chicks that you meet in the club or chicks that's twerking, I mean, at the end of the day, really, can you take a lot of these chicks seriously? Or even a man who, if that's what you want, can you take them seriously enough to want to marry them and it be something long term?
I don't know. I feel like I've heard some men say that they can turn
a hoe into a
housewife with the proper training.
That's false.
Right, because that's just like what Tiffany was talking about earlier of trying to change a woman of what she, you know what I mean, from what she is, from what you want. You can't do that or whatever. Like, I mean,
and vice versa.
Not going to work. It's just not going to work. It's
you can't turn a dude that's into womanizing and cheating into this great husband. It's
not going to happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's a hell of a lot of examples where a lot of women do that and they end up on the short end of the stick, or a lot of men who try to, I mean, there's been episodes of dudes trying to get a chick from the strip club, bring them home and wife them and think they can change them after that. Like, you can't do it, man. Like, look, I understand she provides a fair.
Some chicks can change. I do feel, because there's people I know, well, don't know them personally, but like in passing and stuff like that, where in their former life, they were sex workers or strippers, and now that is part of their past.
But they chose that.
They chose
right.
that.
They
different.
chose to change.
Right. Yeah. I know. I see. There's a porno chick. I don't want to say her name necessarily, but there's a porno chick. She retired from the game like maybe 5 years or so ago, and now like she's heavy in the church. She's spiritual, and you know all this other. But again, this is something that she chose. She changed up or whatever. It wasn't like she just got wifed up by some regular dude, and she, because of his lifestyle, she decided to, switch up or whatever. Like, nah, it don't work that way.
Yeah.
Once you ready, when you ready, then it is what it is. You do something different, but ain't nobody gonna force that out of you.
That's crazy. So, I mean, I heard some good answers. So basically, the difference between us and our grandparents is we have more options. We have the ability, especially as females, like women, right? Y'all have the ability to say, I'm not going to tolerate this. And I have the financial independence to be single. Whereas our grandparents were probably more stuck. That's like a big factor in why
And the religion too. Like, I feel like now a lot more people are starting to question some of the values they got taught in their Christianity or whatever religion it is that they practice. I think before, a lot of people had that older type of mindset, or more traditional, I should say, type of church mindset, where it's considered a sin. Like, you shouldn't be divorcing your husband. Like, you get married through thick and thin. And if you don't stay married to that husband, God is looking down. Like, you're being frowned upon as being.
But you can't divorce. It's in the Bible that you can divorce.
No, you're only no.
Yeah,
no, you are not. Where are you seeing that? You are not. Supposed to.
In the Bible. I mean, I don't want to look this up right now, but if I have to,
you gonna screenshot enough.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to divorce unless it's something where he is not honoring you as I forgot the saying. Like, he's not honoring you as Jesus honors his temple or something. That is the only reason.
No, adultery. You can divorce.
Well, yeah, and it also says desertion is a reason you can get divorced. If they desert you. But another thing is, dang, I keep getting my train of thought, y'all. I'm sorry. We don't talk about how people experience shame as a result of getting divorced. Number one, it's a very tedious process, right? To have to go through divorce. But then your lives become interlocked, and y'all are, y'all family is each other's family. Like, everything is. And then it's like, depending on what the reason is, if people don't find your reason to be valuable, or if they were invested in your partner, and you can experience a lot of shame as a result of your relationship not working out. Even if the relationship didn't make it all the way to marriage, you can experience a lot of that shame.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And even too, if you get divorced multiple times, like, I see women shame another woman, like, damn, this is your second divorce. Oh, girl, that's your third husband. And they may not realize. And men also shame women that have gone through multiple divorces as well.
I'm not saying it's right, but the reason why I think that happens is because it's like, yo, why you keep picking these guys?
Yeah, it's a repetitive thing. You picking the same type of guy, like, y'all breaking up for the same reason. So
but you don't know that. That's the thing. I think people make assumptions. You don't know that. She could have left her first husband because he was maybe physically abusive.
Sharon. Wait, hold up. Tiffany said something about being what she said? Embarrassed, right? She said something about being embarrassed about divorce, right? I think a lot of women lie about the reason as to why they get a divorce, because if it was a multiple amount of divorce you went through, you don't want to tell the truth because you don't want to face that embarrassment. So you'll lie about what the real reason is because you don't want to face that embarrassment. Because if you went through 3 or 4 different divorces, it's like, damn, another divorce, or you getting married again or whatever. It's like, so what's the reason now? What happened now? You just keep running into bad men. How is it that all of a sudden this man is bad? You got something. There has to be some type of culpability in this where you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're doing something wrong as well. And I'm not saying that the dude is right.
Listen, I don't think that that's fair to say. And the reason I say that is because there's also shaming on the opposite end. Like, meaning if a woman is 40 and she doesn't have kids and she's not married, she's also looked at as being, damn, you still don't got a husband, girl. What's wrong? What's wrong with you?
35.
So,
but you don't think some of those...
But hold on. Let me finish my point. But she could be in that situation because she is being cautious. She doesn't want to make a mistake. She's trying to make all the right choices in men. And that's why she's also in that situation. Okay, so I feel like what's that saying? You damned if you do, you damned if you don't.
But which one would you rather be? The woman with like 3 different kids with 3 different husbands, or the woman with no kids because she's waiting for the right guy? Which one would you rather be?
Oh, that question was just to me? I thought it
was... Yes.
Well, I'm not...
For you and Tiffany.
I'm not going to be anybody's wife, so it doesn't apply to me.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, I'll also say this, what is my brain today, y'all? It is not working on all cylinders.
But answer the question.
I forgot the question. It's like, you know how you have your answer in your head. I forgot the question, forgot the answer. I'm gonna let Sharon speak and then I'll go.
Oh, you put it on me, Tiffany. Come on. I thought I had a little time.
But Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Personally, I would rather be that person that is single and waiting to find the right person. I will say that. However, because I want to make this clear, because I don't like this shaming around women that have kids with multiple men. Listen, if I don't like it, no, I don't.
It depends on the circumstance.
It
Because you don't necessarily
and I
have to
don't like
be.
it. So I'm going to put out the disclaimer. If I did happen to have a child by a man that I'm no longer with, I wouldn't feel any guilt around that either, because I feel like people do the best they can with what they have in their given situation. And sometimes things just happen. Like I could be a woman that is in my 40s. I mean, I'm not in my 40s, but I could be that person that was in their 40s that probably did get pregnant multiple times, but had a bunch of abortions.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So people are looking at me from the outside thinking, oh, she's responsible. She hasn't had any kids, not knowing my story.
But that's why I say it depends on the circumstance.
Hold on. Whereas there's a woman that just don't believe in having an abortion, and she did have that child. But now she's looked at as, oh, she has a child by 2 different baby daddies. So I think that we have to break out of that mindset of judging people's stories.
I think the shaming is only dependent on the circumstance of the why this happened. I'm not saying just because that was the narrative. It just depends on what happened. So if you continue marrying dudes who kept shitting on you and doing, you know what I mean, or whatever the situation is, that to where you kept picking the same situation, I think that's where the shaming comes. But if it's just natural life, you went through life where it was great in the beginning, but then y'all kind of just, then okay, I can't shame you for that. You was living your life, you found a guy, it didn't work. Fine, it is what it is. I can't.
What if it happens more than once though, Ryan? Because I've had friends that thought he was the one multiple times.
But if you honestly felt like you was in love, and let's say he was in love with you, but it didn't work, I can't shame you for your relationship not working. It's just, that's why they call it irreconcilable differences. It's not to say either one of you necessarily did something wrong. It just didn't work. So I can't shame you for where it didn't work. So it's like, this is why if I know you personally and you tell me, you know, one scenario where it's like, okay, you and him broke up. Okay, fine. You give me another scenario where you and him broke, but it seemed like it seemed as if like the reason as to why you broke up, you're only targeting him, and it still kind of sounds suspect. And then another situation, it's the same type of situation. Then it's like, damn, girl, like another one.
What are you,
That's where
DJ
the comes in.
Another one.
I don't know. I be feeling bad because sometimes people just don't really know. People change. Like people change in relationships. And I feel like sometimes you really don't know. Like sometimes you could be fooled. You really can be.
Yeah. And not only that, people purposely portray a representative when they're trying to get
stuff up.
In the beginning, everybody's a representative of themselves in the beginning. Everybody's a representative of himself in the beginning.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So sometimes there's an illusion that people could be presented with, and they're like, "Oh, this is it. This seems great."
What are you saying, Tiffany?
Let me ask you a question, Sharon.
Because I mean, I know y'all passionate, but y'all like taking
right. Okay, so
like, let Tiffany say so.
So what I was saying is, like, there's a combination between the fact that people are representing their best selves, and then people naturally change and evolve and grow throughout life, and you may not grow together, but like. Sometimes people do intentionally mislead you so that they can take advantage of you or manipulate you. And so that's important to keep in mind.
Okay. What you were saying, Ryan? My bad. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, just to continue on with the point of us being representatives in the beginning. Now, I know initially a lot of times, like in our younger form, when we first meet somebody, we might, you know, push out that representative. But as you get older and you done touched a couple of relationships and it didn't work, when, you know, do you still continue to push yourself as that representative, or you actually yourself now, when you go meet somebody for the first time and you go out, y'all have dinner or whatever encounter y'all, are you still that representative, or are you truthful in the beginning?
I feel like some people have a hard time being honest. I'm gonna keep it real.
So now, okay. So that point that you made, then if you're still doing that, then you kind of setting yourself up for the fail in a way, because it's like, well, I'm initially thinking that this is who you are, but then later on you switching up, you still doing the same type of thing. So then it can lead to where it's like you get shamed for your losses because you're still doing the same thing. When are you going to actually just be yourself in the beginning so you don't run into these bad apples later on?
Y'all are not hearing me.
I agree with you.
Let me be more specific. Like, a lot of times people are intentionally misleading. Like, if you have a toxic trait, if you're emotionally abusive, or if you don't have certain attributes and you're trying to portray yourself like you do, a lot of people, it's like, sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's just like they're not even conscious that they're misrepresenting themselves because it's just how they show up. And then it's like, oh, once I'm comfortable, I'm going to show up completely different. And I agree with you that there has to be accountability for everybody on both sides, but I don't think it's just that simple for people to say, like, this is my role in the situation, let me change my role so I can get a different result.
Oh, can I say this though? Can I say this? Maybe, I'm not trying to be offensive, but maybe if women wasn't so fast to want to get married, if they slowed down and actually took the time to get to know the guy, maybe they would see those toxic negative traits and not say, yes, let's get married.
I'm not saying it has to be a guy. I'm saying people, this is just
no, but just to piggyback off of what Sharon and Ryan was so passionate about, like, why do people want to shame women, right? And it's not necessarily shaming, to Ryan's point, it's that you keep picking the same type of guy who is abusive or womanizer or whatever his toxic trait is. It's like, well, why don't you take longer to get to know that guy to see if those traits present themselves, then get married?
I got an answer.
Well, go ahead, Tiffany.
Well, so the thing is, like, number one, everybody wants to feel love, regardless of who you are. Feel love, and then beyond that, it's like a lot of women, and we have talked about this, have the mindset like, oh, if I don't hold on to this one, it ain't that many out there. It's slim pickings. So like, let me not even really examine. And I'm not even gonna throw, like, say women. This has been me at times. Like, let me not. Like, I'm just not gonna see it. It's like you try to see somebody through an idealized image of what they can be, as opposed to how they're actually showing up. It ain't right. It's just what's done. Like, it's no excuse for that. But it's like, it's a scarcity mindset as opposed to an abundant mindset. Like, I can be bad all by myself,
Right.
But
and I also
think, but hold up. But that was the question. Would you rather be the single woman waiting or the woman with 3-4 divorces?
Absolutely single waiting and happy.
yo, I think either side, it doesn't really, I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter. It matters. I don't think one is more significant than the other one. One, it just looks like they have a clean slate, like, but who knows what that person might, the first time out, where they actually try it, who knows what they're gonna get. And at the same time, you got the other side who's scared to try again because of the fact that every time they tried, shit didn't go right. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't necessarily mean neither side has a higher pedestal than the other one. It's just I guess when it's your time, it's your time. But at the same time, it's like sometimes you should be a little cautious of what you're doing for the most part before you actually put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but to Sharon's point, to society, sometimes the women who didn't get married, they are kind of, at least compared to the woman who has 4 or 5 divorces, they kind of are on a higher pedestal.
Yeah, but then look at what's her name, and look at Toni Braxton. You've never really heard, she's never had any kids. She's never really put herself out there, as far as, because she said it.
And she was married to the guy from Mint Condition, Carrie.
No, she doesn't have any kids. But she said
Toni Braxton.
Toni Braxton has kids.
Yeah, she has 2 kids. Denim and Diesel.
That's not the point I was making. That's not the point I was making. But what she was saying, she wished like in her past she was more sexual, because she was, she made that point that she wished she'd have took more risks. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, sometimes it's like while you're waiting, sometimes some time will pass. You could look at yourself like, damn, Why did I take so much time to sit there and, you know, not do anything when I could have tried? And then you got the other.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. It's like a lot of women wait for the guy to come to them. Why can't women take the initiative, see a man that they like, and then I'm not saying full on court that man or take him out to dinner, but at least present yourself to that person like I'm interested.
Because
actually
no
find a guy.
woman want to hear no. No
'Cause
woman
what?
wants to hear no.
Well, I will tell you that I do give it to you guys, because just to put yourself out there on the line, to constantly, you know, probably more often
To keep
than
trying,
not
to
get
keep trying,
rejected
to keep
is-
trying to get rejected.
I give it to y'all, because let me tell you, I've tried it once and my feelings were so hurt. Like, I was like, I don't know how men do this. Like, I really do. Hats off to you guys, because I do feel like, you know, it's difficult. It is difficult to put yourself on the line.
Sharon, you know what makes that even hard? When you have women that act like she's throwing you signs that she wants you to go talk to her, and she doesn't want you to go talk to her. That's what makes it even worse. That makes it hard. Like, why would you do what you just did and you didn't want me to talk to you?
Because women can be teasers.
Exactly. And sometimes they just want the attention. They really don't want you.
That is true.
That's true. But also, to go back to the Toni Braxton point, like, I can identify with what she's saying, because she was like, she was a PK, a pastor's kid, and I was raised in the church. And so it's like, there's so much stigma attached to you trying to have any form of sexual exploration, because you're constantly indoctrinated with the idea of like, sex is for marriage, sex is for marriage, sex is for marriage. And so you don't, it's like, whether it's external or now you've internalized it so you don't feel like you can do it. I know so many people who I grew up with that were like, the first time I had sex, I felt so dirty. I just shouldn't have done it. I should have waited. And I was like, huh? But I don't think it's just that easy to go out and explore yourself sexually. I think it is more now, which, hey, that's great. But I think that's a recent development.
Mm-hmm. And there's still shame around it now too. Like, women that are, you know, that choose to sexually explore it is still shamed. Whereas when men do it openly, it's like, oh, well, men do what men do. But then when women do it, they are very much looked at as, oh, that's not appropriate. Women should not be engaging in those activities with multiple men, et cetera, et cetera.
Because I guess naturally, a lot of women don't openly do that. So women appear to be more reserved. So when you actually see women doing that, it's like, oh my goodness, girl, I can't believe you did that. You know what I mean? Because it seems more of a trait that men do, and it seems more that's a man's natural, you know, instinct to just do that. You know, like, it's just hunting for food. Men naturally go out there and get it. So when you see women actually doing that, it's like, oh shit, like, you do that? You do that? Or even not just, oh, you do that. It's like, I can't believe you doing that. You know what I mean? Because naturally, not a lot of women are doing that.
I think those women are happier.
You think they're not doing it, right?
But but they're not openly doing it like how you know men are doing it. You know what I mean? So I mean, what would happen if more women actually took the initiative to, you know, hey, I like him, I think he's cute, or whatever. I'm gonna go say what's up. Because it's like, okay, it's a hit or miss, but 9 times out of 10, a dude is probably gonna say yeah. Regardless of what his situation is, he probably gonna say yeah. 9 out of 10 times. But then you got that one time where it's gonna be like,
but look, but nobody's saying that women go up to men and be like, hey, I like you, let's go out to dinner. How about just saying hello, starting a conversation? Is that so hard?
I think more and more women actually are feeling empowered to do that. Absolutely. I feel like it happens. I mean, it's still not that common, but I do feel like it happens more now than it did before. But yeah, I'm curious to know, how do you guys feel about that? You know, if a woman came up to you, do you find her still, like, would you rather pursue her, or you don't mind if you sit back and she pursues you? Will you have that same level of attraction? Because I've heard some men say, nah, they kind of like the chase. Like, they kind of like to be the tiger.
I mean, it's wanted. It's not to say, you know, I wouldn't like that. It makes me feel a way because it's not something that naturally happens. It's not like something that happens on a regular basis, like women that actually come onto you. But it's like for dudes, it's like dudes want to feel a particular way too, to know, oh, shorty done came at me. She, she feeling me or whatever. Dudes want that feeling as well too. But not a lot of women actually are, brave enough to do that. But I think more women should actually try it.
So you're saying that you don't mind if it wouldn't change your attraction level to her.
No, because it depends how she did it. Like I said, you don't gotta go full on, bring me flowers, tell me I'll pick you up and take you out to eat. But if you're staying in communication with me, you're flirting with me, my natural instincts will kick in.
For real.
And I'll ask you out and take you out. For
real.
So you don't need to be full blown like, hey, I like you. I want to have your baby.
Ain't asking you to take charge, nothing like that.
Someone would definitely say that, though.
It's not asking you to take charge or nothing, but it's like, dudes want to feel warm in the inside too. Like, listen. I mean, look, as manly as men appear to be and all that, certain things or whatever men want to feel too. And I'm not sure if women know this, but it's like, if certain things that we do, you like the feeling of it, we would like the feeling too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I do. That's something I've learned through the years of my wisdom. That men are big softies. The exterior is a certain way.
I'm saying though, why we got to use that terminology though?
All right.
That's exactly why dudes don't be wanting to say nothing because of that, right?
Right.
That's exactly why dudes don't be wanting to say nothing.
But I really wish that I had more. Like I have had times where I have had more of that initiation role, and when that experience of rejection, it is hard. Biggest ego blow.
How do you think we feel?
And I'm like, do it. I'm not saying it's right, but it's like a soul crushing experience. I'm like,
how do you think we feel? Yo, you know what's crazy? Look. A dude could go get his, and y'all women know this firsthand. You go get your hair done. You go, you got a nice outfit on. Dudes will get his joints together, whatever. He looking cool. He go outside. He see something that look attractive. He try to go run up on that, talk to that, and it's like, no, I'm not interested. And here's the funny thing: a lot of y'all women with y'all rejection is hard. It's harsh. It's
get away from me. Why you, Bob?
For real. And you speak of embarrassment. A lot of times the way you do it, you look to command a crowd to pretty much so everybody can monitor you throwing this dude in the dirt.
I try not to. I can't speak for other women. But
you sit there speak of rejection, how it makes you feel. At least it's just you got to deal with it by yourself. We got to feel it from everybody that see it.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
no guy's really gonna do that. No guy's gonna be like, yo, shorty, get away from me, yo.
For real, ain't no dude gonna do that to you.
Nobody's gonna do that.
Yeah, no, women could be a little harsh. I will say that.
A little.
Sometimes it's because of the approach. Like, hey, shorty, with a fat ass.
No.
Blondie.
Oh, come on. Don't do that. It don't even gotta be that raunchy. It could just be a regular casual dude just running up to shorty like, he's being nice and everything. And it's just like, and a woman will look at him up and down like, if you don't get out of my face,
your breath stink.
Like, why is that necessary?
Say it mad loud. Your breath stink.
Not funny.
For real.
No, my signature rejection is just the ignore. I don't need to say nothing. I'm just gonna keep walking.
I can say no, thank you.
Thank
you. That's it. I mean, no, I get it. And I feel like, at least personally, I do be feeling for y'all. And that's why I try, like I said, I can't speak for other women, but I try to put a little honey on it. So it's not,
and I hear you, and that's appreciated from any man that's going through that. And I understand from a woman's perspective too, where you have women that put honey on it, and it still make a dude feel as if he still got a chance to keep trying.
I know,
Yeah.
and that's the problem.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
the
I don't want to.
problem.
I don't want to
Right.
just make it seem as if like all of y'all women, when y'all rejecting a man, y'all being poor, y'all being messed up. Because there's some women that are actually nice about it, but then the dude keeps trying, keeps
Yeah.
trying to, and it kind of forces a woman to just be, look, nigga, I don't want you. I try to be nice, but you keep.
Out my DM.
So I get that aspect of it, and I understand. You know what I mean? But so not even say but. So I understand from that perspective.
So
But I'm just saying
that,
I'm just saying when a dude just immediately approaches you and he immediately just gets shot at, like, damn, like,
Yeah.
so to piggyback off of that, Ryan, so then how would you say is a good way for a woman to reject the guy without his feelings being hurt, but still
it depends on the guy.
It just, yeah, I'm about to say it just depends on the dude. Sometimes you just gonna get a dude who's just a regular asshole. It don't matter what you say. So unless you're giving, you're giving into the advances, he's depending on the dude, he might just be an a-hole and ain't nothing really you could do about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's something going around the internet right now, and it talks about how, like, for Virgos, we match respect and we double disrespect. And so my thing is, like, I'm always gonna match your energy. If you are coming at me correct, it's like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I'm not interested right now. Have a blessed one. But if it's like, if you're gonna be nasty about it, then it's like, I can go nasty with you if that's where we need to go. Typically, I'm just gonna hit the walk away. But
Nah, I mean, I get that. And I mean, I've heard it's even been on the news where a dude shot a chick because she said no and all that. And it's like, damn, man, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no need for that. Like, why shoot a chick because she said no? Like, if she's not interested, she's not interested. So why you got to shoot her? That don't make any sense.
That's
so
crazy.
again, you got some real stupid dudes out here that mess things up for the rest of the people. Because just because she's not interested today, don't mean it's actually something that she was doing wrong. Maybe she's just not having a day where she really wants to speak to somebody. So don't have to be nothing about you or whatever the case. But dudes just be like, just hearing no and just lose it. You know what I mean? So,
all right, so I think that was a great conversation. If you like this content, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. Make sure you share this, have conversations about this. It really helps us out. And also check out the links in the description section. Support Black business. Sharon has a business, Eclectic Souls Organics.com. Check that out. Tiffany has organization. What's the name of your organization again?
it's the Black Coalition, and the project is called the Ground Up Project.
Exactly. I'm gonna leave a link in the description section for that. And also check out our sponsor, which is PureVPN. Allows you to stay anonymous online, all that stuff. All that's going to be in the description section. And also, we have another channel that's actually called Smush Sandwich.
Smush Sandwich, for real, Smush Sandwich. Smush Sandwich or whatever. As soon as it's gonna be on sweaters, t-shirts, it's gonna be everywhere soon. So you better be there from the beginning, because it don't even matter. You just better be there. You just better be there. Be there.
Yeah. All right, yo. And with that, thank y'all for having this conversation. Appreciate all y'all. Y'all know what it is. And we are out.
Even if you don't like the content, still subscribe.
Too funny.